What is the value of a human being? On a recent trip to Scotland, John and I went to a shop. They were selling handmade clothes. And on one mannequin, there were three items: a pleated skirt, a top, and a knitted scarf. And I examined them all, looking for new or maybe even new couture techniques to add to my own sewing and knitting. And then what I realized in examining these articles was that I'm pretty good at this sort of thing, since my skill level and the skill level of the person who created those items were pretty much the same. And then I looked at the price tags. Whoa. Apparently, I am really good at those sorts of things. Now, to be honest, though, part of me never really valued those skills. Sewing, knitting, embroidery were utilitarian pastimes at best. If I needed a dress, I sewed one. Now I see that maybe I wasn't valuing myself as much as I ought to. Now, human beings are, by and large, a modest lot, which is good, because an overinflated sense of self leads to hubris, which tends to be destructive, because it can lead to an unhealthy and unhelpful decision making, which in turn impacts on others. But too much modesty isn't helpful either. Rather than seeing sewing and knitting as purely utilitarian, as in, I need a pair of socks, so I'm going to make myself a pair of socks, why not see it as a skill and as a gift? Why not see it as a wonderful creative outlet and give thanks? Because whoever created all those items in that display certainly did, and people certainly valued it enough to pay some pretty serious shekels for it in turn. Now that brings me back to my original question. How do we value and honor people? By their skills, their creative abilities, or purely on a monetary basis? How much do we value ourselves? And in society, how are we called to value one another? The thing is, we should always ask ourselves that question. We seem to live in a world at the moment where groups are pitted one against another and only certain ones are valued. It's that old us versus them thing. And with that us versus them thing dynamic, how can we care for one another? How do we value human life? How can we possibly value the skills of one another? Or do we only value when we win? For example, politicians who othered players for taking the knee suddenly valued them and festooned themselves with flags, but only when they were winning. The thing is, though, when you think about it, we are a creative project in ourselves, crafted by God, who declared that we in all creation are good. And by being created works, by virtue of simply being, we are worth and value, whether we win or whether we lose, whether we're ill or whether we're well, whether we're young, whether we're old, whether we're poor, whether we're rich. Well, you get it. You get the picture. Now, what if we honestly believed that about ourselves and about one another? What if those in authority believed that? How would we treat one another and all creation if we lived as though we believed it? You see, I too have a dream today. One dreamed by many others before me. One dreamed by many people today, let's not lose hope, and one that will be dreamed by others long after me. So today, my sisters and brothers, be proud of yourself and of your accomplishments. Value who you are, and then enable others to do the same about themselves. And may we all live with respect of ourselves, creation, and one another. And as for me, I'm now off to do a gazillion tasks in my daily living, which, like us all, but you know something? I may even do a little bit of sewing. God bless you.